All right. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to All In, All United. Your boys, Reem and Nick on the inside. And today, we decided to spice it up a little bit and we invited Kerry. And I seen you have hashtag KTBFFH. I don't even know what I mean. But this guy
Oh my God.
coming from London because he's one of those Chelsea men now here. So we have a Chelsea man on the inside to handle this review with us.
Mm.
We like the banter. Yeah. You hold your badge, man. I'll let get away. I'll let get away. Big time. I'll let get away. You know, I'll let get away. I'll let get away. I'll let get away. You know, Kershaw, all in. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Watch me. All Kershaw is a Manny fan.
Nice. Good night, Christian. Good night.
Yeah, so glad to have you on the inside. So guys, today, coming into the game, knowing that Chelsea would have spent over 200 million, Nico.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
over 200 million coming into the coming into the new season, with all these different players, Werner, Thiago, Havertz, Ziyech,
Quality
all them
players.
boy
Yeah,
and them
quality.
quality
Quality
players.
players, yeah.
On the day.
On the day. And watch me, Nico. I remember many times we sit on here and we was watching Oli and we was a little jealous now,
Right.
So when going into the game, we was expecting, a Chelsea team that would have come and dominate, and have us running all over the park. Now, let me preface that by saying the game was by no stretch an entertaining, enjoyable game. That was our best as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Very
much.
But considering the circumstances where we came into this game thinking, Nico, that we might have had to go the back five, just to protect ourselves, because we know Chelsea coming with guns blazing, only for us to really dictate the football, So, I mean, anyway, let's give the Chelsea man an opportunity to introduce themselves to the people, No hate is love, is a love still, because for those who don't know,
Love.
for those who don't know, Kerry, me and him, we play on the same football team, and we just had the rivalry going when we on the field sometimes, So Kerry, introduce yourself to the people.
Pleasant good night, everyone. My name is Kerry, as Kareem would have said. For those that wouldn't know, like you, man, you fans and thing that probably don't know stuff, KTBFFH means keep the blue flag flying high. All right, keep it flying. As a Chelsea fan, um, that being said, I have always been a Chelsea fan from the time that we got cable in Trinidad. That's when I started watching football. So been a Chelsea fan from ever since, and I'm happy to see that my team is going to be back on top for sure this season. I think we take any league and one of the cups for sure. As my team continues to gel. I realize most Man U fans want to bring up the fact that we spent about 200 million on our team, but I mean that's usually how much you will pay to the referee, and I think that's about close.
What?
That's about close to the amount that you will pay for how much Maguire costs, and Maguire costs about half of that. So give or take, we in the same boat. We in the same boat.
Nice. So Nico, where's your opening thoughts on the game?
I think we went into the game with a real solid plan. I think Oli going with the four at the back. I think that showed a bit of maturity, because I think before even if you even take the performance a midweek into consideration, I think we did well with three at the back. But to go with a four at the back showed that he had a plan. He was brave to stick with what his thoughts would have been, knowing that how Chelsea set up or would have set up because of the quality that Chelsea had. And I think for large parts, I think it worked. I think for large parts it worked. I think we nullified them for large portions of the game, and we was more or less on top in terms of quality chances. I think I think we was on top in that. However, what his man name is?
Mendy.
Houdini Mendy. Yeah. I think he really pull off some miracles.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Definitely pull off some miracles today to save Chelsea from a licking.
Ouch.
Yeah. We have some comments. Sinatra, welcome. He's saying Chelsea full of depth, you know, no injuries, nothing, you know, the full squad, everybody was there.
Wow.
And Christopher, welcome. He's saying we don't say Man U, so refrain from same. Please and thanks. You know, I'm just for the record now. Keep the blue
Humble
flag.
apologies.
Yeah. And for the record, keep the blue flag flying high. We don't need to know that, you know. Well, but to, you know, in all fairness to you, you know, represent strong.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, always on cover.
So what's your thoughts on the game, Kerry?
My thoughts on the game, well, definitely I agree with the fact that it was definitely a boring game. I think it was definitely a tactical game where both managers went into. It's like, okay, nobody not getting Sam here. We're not taking no 4-0 and 3-0 and not gonna be no high scoring.
Or 6-1.
Yeah.
Or 6-1.
Yeah, we're not going through that this day. All right, okay, season probably in full swing now. Them kind of thing can't be happening no more. I believe for me with the setup with Frank, I know that the last couple of times we would have played Manchester United, we lost because of the quickness of all the counter attack. So I believe he went into the match thinking, okay, I'm not setting up in a way where we go and play we controlling the ball and taking continually attacking and then getting caught on the counter attack. So that's why I believe he played with the 3, almost 5 in the back most times. For me, I believe that the penalty would have changed the game. That's my personal belief. I believe that was definitely a penalty. But like we said, VAR isn't perfect. They're still learning the things. Referees seemingly making a lot of mistakes this early in the season. So that's something that you just have to take into factor. So yeah, at the end of the day, I would say that Manchester definitely Man U.
No. You can't come on all United and be disrespectful. You can't come in all United and be disrespectful. You can't like a man coming inside your house and disrespecting you. No, we're not doing that.
United.
Right.
Manchester United definitely.
Man United.
You all had the better opportunities, the better chances. So for me, I believe you all played the better game in terms of tactically. I would say that even though Chelsea we had all our players are still now coming back from injury. So they still have to catch up form. And because of the fact that we are playing players that would not have played in the Premiership before, they also have to learn the Premier League. So there's a learning curve that Frank would have to have with the team. And I believe that as well played into his team selection. And that's how the game went for me.
Interesting enough, I think of the two managers, there's this saying, ideally you'll want to win all your games. But there's always say win your home games and try not to lose your away games.
Yep.
So most times you'll find the traveling manager will set up in such a way that where he doesn't lose. And I think as you mentioned, Kerry, in your previous outings to Old Trafford, it wasn't really nice, which would kind of explain why Lampard would have gone how he set up. I mean, Nico and myself, we always talk about how you all possess the ball. You all look very, very positive in terms of possession. So it was a little bit weird for me to see Chelsea not play a possession game today.
Yeah.
To see Man United dominating possession against a Chelsea team with the kind of quality to possess the ball that you all have, especially with Jorginho, Kovacic. It was a little bit weird. So I could understand that Lampard would definitely leave the more pleased manager with the result.
Yeah.
I think in the first half, Chelsea have dominated possession. It had a point where they had 65% possession in the first, 35%.
Yeah,
let me say for the first half an hour, Chelsea was more or less boss of possession, but how we set up at that time was very difficult for us to break down. So I think Oli had them well drilled, Oli had the team well drilled, and they was able to sustain whatever pressure Chelsea had, and of course was playing on the counter at that point.
Yeah. But for me, when you look at the game in its context, you could tell that Chelsea didn't really come. I didn't see that all-out attack Chelsea team. You know, they were. Yeah, you were very, very safe in a lot of what you were doing. So much to say that I don't think De Gea had much work to do today. I remember the game where the first game last season. Even though we won that game, we could say we were lucky because Chelsea played the better football. We were just a little more clinical.
Start the game again,
yeah. The amount of time they'll hit the post.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise to see how Lampard came, and it kind of showed for me that he growing as a tactical manager. Right. Lampard, that is. But I from a Man United point of view, I thought that this was an opportunity lost for us because we had good chances. I think for most part, Nico, even some of the decisions we made on the ball, could have been better. It was disappointing for our attacking players today. Largely wasteful in possession. But I mean, in terms of our defensive structure and the drilling, especially the work of McTominay and Fred.
You see you come McTominay name first? You see you come McTominay?
Yeah, I will get to McTominay.
No, it's not here, but the man playing a role and he played it. It can't nobody else on that play a role like that. Dreams. Yeah? So and even going back, even if we talk about the defensive lineup for United, with Maguire coming back into the team, going back to our back four, with himself and Lindelof in the back, I think it was real solid because I think what would have worked for Maguire today also was this the kind of game Maguire would excel at, right? Where more or less, a lot of the times, especially in the first half, Chelsea was pressing us, so he was defending deep, and I think that's his strength. I think when he's defending deep, I think you see the best of Maguire. I think when he defending high up the field with space behind him, that's when he does struggle. And you saw at times when we started to play the more possession game, where Lindelof had to mop up for him a few times, right? So I could definitely see, let me say, games that where Axel will come in because of his pace and his recovery. But I think today, the game suit our defenders down to the wire. I think Lindelof, since he was dropped for Bailly, stepped up his game. I think even for Chelsea, bringing James, Reece James into the team, right? That would have definitely been a plus for United because that means Frank would have been wary of our pace on the counter, and he brought in Reece James into the team, and who had an excellent game today also.
Yeah. So, Kerry, tell us something. Would you have done anything different in terms of starting lineup or your approach to the game today?
Yes, but as I was having a conversation with one of my Chelsea friends as well, and he was like, you think it had, even though you could see the maturity in Frank in terms of going into this game like that, it had more to do with one, the magnitude of the game in terms of the fact that we were playing Manchester United. So it's not a game where I think it would be the team itself would be, and the views on the team would be affected more if we lost to Manchester United as compared to losing to, if you lost to Brighton. I mean, it would be worse if you lost to Brighton or whatever, but the ramifications, especially in terms of the media, how they would speak if we lost to Manchester United as compared to one of the smaller teams supposedly, I think it would be greater in terms of how it would affect Frank. And he was talking about the Frank's ego, especially in terms of being a young manager, and also going up against Ole, who he would have played against at some point, very, very late, very early in his career and late in Ole's run. And knowing that this is somebody that you're probably going to have a rivalry with over time. You don't want to always be going into a game. And like I said, the last game we would have played, we played the better game but lost. So at the end of the day,
no, I think all I won the last game, that was the Carabao.
Yeah, that was the FA. Yeah, very true. But the last game when we came to you, when we came back, yeah, when we came back, yeah, it was like you play the better game, but you still end up losing. And the way that we have been conceding goals recently, it shows that he really wanted to go out there and not. If we come out here with a clean sheet, we okay. If we win 1-0, we all right. That's fine. For me, I personally knowing that I prefer to go out and beat a team. I would have gone with our original formation, which would have been the 4-2-3-1. And I would have played Hudson Odoi and Pulisic and Havertz, as compared to playing Reece James. And yeah, just be like you said, because of what the footballer I have become accustomed to under Frank in terms of possession and being more forward, more attacking minded. I would have gone with that, knowing that I prefer to come out and beat Manchester United as compared to leaving with a point. But I also understand that leaving with a point is better than having come there, play better football, and lose because of one of the media and the ramifications, and then it's still the way the Premier League looking right now this season, you really don't know. You don't know who winning it. Nobody really step out and say, all right, I am the best team in the league right now. Unless you want to consider Everton or so those teams you don't think that right now to have a definitive winner. So you really don't want to be dropping. You don't want to come out of games with no points. You at least want a point. So I could understand the tactics that he went with there. I just would have gone more attacking and see what happened. So yeah.
All right, that's good. Sinatra saying strong second half from United, good ball possession, but not enough shots on target. Yeah, I think we was found playing around the ball too much, and as I was talking about our decisions, it was poor in the final third, especially. And I think even Fred and McTominay were trying passes that were forced. Christopher saying United is this is for the Chelsea man. He say United is fine, or you can say the only English team to win a treble.
How long ago that was?
Okay. Hey, Callum, what going on? Maguire was decent today. Hey,
yeah, Maguire.
I think you're referring to the penalty. He referred to the penalty shot.
Oh, right.
We talk about Maguire. What happened there? How Van missed that?
I don't know, because honestly, we're grateful, right? We're grateful because if you look at what would have done with the Lamela situation, right? Lamela hit the man at elbow, right? The man reacted, yes, wrong red card, but then Lamela just gave a yellow, right? And VAR look at that much time and they still give a yellow when the whole world saying 2 players should have been sent off or the 2 players should have been cautioned, and that worked against us, and that led to us being trashed, right? By Spurs. So I think today, for some reason, VAR was in our good graces. However, Reams, I could be wrong. If that was Bailly, they do that would be a penalty, right? I honestly feel if it was Bailly did that, would have been a penalty. I think Maguire get away maybe because he was English. That's the only reason I could see he getting away with that. But we was lucky with it. I think VAR that's in a mess in England. They're in a mess, but we're grateful. Don't mind even if Chelsea scored that penalty, I think we'll come back and win. Because you know why? Yeah, they get ultra defensive, and now we'll be able to pick them off. Right? I think we had the firepower on the bench in terms of Pogba, in terms of Greenwood, in terms of who else we had on the bench. Right?
Cavani, Van de Beek.
Cavani, right? Van de Beek, you know what I mean? I think we had the quality. If Chelsea did get our 1-goal lead, went ahead, and if you look at us sit back on it, I think we'd have punished them. No, honestly, I think we'd have punished them because I think for some reason, I think we're looking at a lot more confident in our play. I think from since Newcastle again and went to the PSG, and even today, even though the first half we was defending a lot, you saw a lot of confidence, you saw a lot of composure, you saw that we was playing with a plan and like we know what we was doing. So that penalty where that's, as we used to say a long time, You know what I mean? Like you choke the lion, you know, you wake up the lion. All that done was wake up the lion. After you wake up the lion, they got that day.
It open up the game.
Yeah.
I know, but I think that's an interesting point in Nico because Kerry, I don't know how much United has watched, but for some reason we just seem to start to play when we concede. You know,
Yeah.
for some reason we just start to play football when we concede. So I mean that penalty might have really opened up the game and it might have really have more goals than a winner. You know?
That's took the lion. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, the one team that actually had the lion on the thing is Chelsea. So you would have wake up Chelsea, but okay, I got you.
What's man? Tonight that lion would have be headless. Good thing let's call a penalty. Better when let's call a penalty today, that lion. Half in your hand, that is all, with no head.
And it would have been on the fork of the devil, boy. It would have been on the fork of the red devil.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Callum saying why James still starting, boy? I don't know. Callum saying, wait now, Chelsea loyalists, all let in the Old Trafford there.
Yeah. And Callum managing disrespect the reason saying Man U. Don't spy him out.
I stop that.
Hey Gregory, welcome man. He said, don't forget Rich James was holding Maguire. Okay. I don't look back at that part. I can't remember that part, but I remember this one.
In a headlock? He was only in a headlock.
He said Rich James also had a bad tackle on Rashford and Pogba.
Oh boy.
What do you think about that tackle Rashford got where they almost take out the boy ankle?
You want that they went to VAR penalty?
Yeah, they went to VAR penalty.
You see, I was impressed. I was watching that how much times and I couldn't see that challenge.
Yeah.
You know what you thought about the dreams?
Nah, for me, it's a certain cause where I know if the referee give it, VAR go overturn it, and if the referee don't give it, VAR not gonna give it. You know, so for me, it's one of those where it could be harsh, but then if it was given, I would not complain.
Hey, would not mind it.
I would not mind at all. No, this game needed a goal. If I honest with you, I sleep through part of the game.
I wanted to speak with Mendy, right? I don't want to talk about in terms of what Callum was talking about James. Right? I think James had a lot of chances. Well, I mean chances to provide a bit of quality. You know, today, right? And that is our James, right? That is James. Right?
Yeah. Daniel James, yeah.
Right? To really bring some quality with some of his delivery, some of his decision making. He was just holding the ball too long. He trying too much. He overthinking everything. You know, so I think he really struggled. I think he was the only player for me today. If I had to pick out of the entire team who struggled, I think he was the only person who really struggled. You know, because he had chances where at least take a shot or even a pass and he didn't need it. You know, like just running down, like with his eyes closed and he just running, not knowing what in front of him. So I think, as Callum would have said, why James still starting, I think that will change soon.
You know, I found it. I mean, I know sometimes, you know, we'll look at our starting lineup when the team news was released. I watch it and I was like, there's not Newcastle. You know, I mean, I know the team that played Newcastle, you know, they look positive. You know, but I mean, we're not playing Newcastle. Yeah, even though you know you want to be assured in what you believe, your philosophy, your players, you have to have some form of respect for your opponent. And I thought going into this game, you know, unchanged, right? And I'm making specific reference to Daniel James because I mean, I would have said last review that I wasn't really impressed, even though Daniel James had looked positive. I wasn't impressed with what he was offering. And you're going up against a better team defensively, individual players in terms of their quality. So they'll be able to read and deal with James a lot better. Why don't put somebody that'll have them thinking a little more? You know? We know, Nico, that Greenwood wasn't injured. So you don't need to leave him on the bench and bring him on with 5 minutes to go.
Nah. I have a question mark
James over that. Wasn't, I mean, Greenwood was not injured.
I have a question mark over that.
All right. So, okay. All right. But what about Van de Beek? You're playing Matava as an inverted right. Why you can't play Van de Beek? Van de Beek could play so many different positions. And I'm telling you, if you had the ability to play James, then you could more than play Van de Beek there.
True.
You understand? Because the fella have more quality, have more intelligence in situations like that. He'll handle the ball better. He'll make better decisions. And it'll only benefit the team. It will give Chelsea defenders something to think about. Rather than, hey, let me just use everybody to shield off and send this Daniel James somewhere else. And that's what happened.
Yeah, no, I think Oli missed that trick. Oli missed that trick there today. I don't know if he rewarded James just for the sheer hard work, you know, but he does not bring any quality to the team. You're not bringing that what we have otherwise.
I think in terms of the team structure that we did see improvements on against Newcastle, you know, I think he does give us that, you know, he'll give you the work, you know, but remember you playing in an attacking position, so we want what he could offer in that regard rather than just team shape alone, you know. So, Kerry,
you think you think they're playing him in the wrong position though, in terms of on the left as compared to the right? Because in my remembrance, I could be wrong, but last season when he had his best games, he was playing from off the right side instead of the left side.
No, that was only because Rashford would have played on the left. And Rashford is better on the left than the right, but I think Daniel James' preferred position is down the left.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Daniel James is playing.
Never see him look good on the left though.
And I think he's playing left for Wales as well. You know. So Kerry, you know, based on what Gregory's saying here, watch me, I miss Kepa. I miss Kepa.
I'm glad. Well, you can have him. You want him? I think we're selling him.
I miss playing against him.
I think we are selling him. If you want him,
we need competition for the hair, right? Anytime Kepa come there, the hair gonna go back in the hole, right? Because you know it's no competition. I apologize. Yes, I'm not saying that Romero not good enough, right? But I'm just saying you don't want Kepa because the hair will go back in our hole. Right now, the hair is right where we want him.
So Kerry, earlier, no, but Dean Henderson doing if from how we see the hair looking right now, a lot had to be attributed to what Dean Henderson bringing.
I was saying he can catch form so good so quick.
You understand? That competition was crucial. I mean, a little bit concerned for Dean Henderson, you know, because I really think he should be playing, you know, but with this informed the hair, you can't drop the hair.
No, so we must say is we paying the hair is almost the highest paid player in the Premier League, right? If to get the best out of that, to get your money's worth is to bring a Henderson and rest on the bench, right? You wouldn't do that? Eh? For 300 or 400,000 pounds a week?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Something 1,000 pounds a week on the bench and give him a competition. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, easy. Yeah.
We give Ole Kepa though. If Ole could talk to Ole about it.
Kepa can't even play with reserves.
I only missed Kepa today because I know if Kepa was in goal for Ole, we'd have win this game probably 4-0 or something.
Yeah. I'll go. 2-3.
No, confidence. After the first two, confidence. Yeah, we know Kepa had a drop.
Yeah, and I was talking about Mendy, right? The first pass Mendy make when he almost scored the own goal, right? After I saw that, I said, nice. I said, Chelsea get today for sure. I said, this is what Chelsea want the money for. You know what I mean? I said, nah. But after when I see that man make some saves, and the saves is the ball sticking to him, and you know what I mean? Looking like it's real quality now. Like one of the, I mean, long time you see a keeper so clean now. He real clean how he handling the ball, how he catching the ball, how he flying. Don't let me see how man fly, so. Not even the AI finders fly, so.
But in terms,
I think Mendy was a monster today.
Yeah, in terms of the deficiencies that you all had in your squad last season, I think that's going to be my last question for you, White. In terms of the deficiencies that you saw in the team from last season, do you think that you all addressed them? I know the goalkeeping one would have been a big one, but other than that,
I think we addressed it to an extent in terms of, well, definitely the goalkeeping, big deal. With anybody, like I tell somebody, I prefer Czech compared to Kepa, and I ain't too sure how much Czech happened in my game, but anything over Kepa because of the confidence that a goalkeeper instills in the whole team. So that is the entirety of the team. I believe in terms of the defense, we still have to see from Thiago Silva just how many games he's able to, because Premier League is a different kind of league compared to France, and it's not PSG where your team just dominating teams right through. So we still have to see, but I believe the experience that Thiago Silva brings, especially when he learns English properly, so he could communicate with Zuma. I
Zuma
believe that
crazy
No,
boy.
no, but,
yeah,
but, he,
Zuma.
but Thiago Silva was in France. I guess he'd pick up
Yeah, no,
some.
yeah, no, he's a great Thiago Silva is a great defender. Like I said, I just
Yeah,
want
but
just it for
I'm talking
me.
about in terms of the language now. In terms of the language barrier with Zuma, with Thiago Silva
Yeah,
playing in France for a long time years, and then with Zuma being a Frenchman.
being a
You know what I
Frenchman.
mean?
Yeah, true. But from what I've been reading, he was like a lot of the jargon that the Chelsea players would use, he doesn't know it. So there are times where there's a little miscommunication in terms of what they're really trying to do. Um, but for me personally, I think the one problem I still have is Jorginho, because I do not consider him to be a good holding midfielder. Um, and even though Chelsea plays the two midfielders in the middle there, I think I would prefer a more dominant player as compared to Jorginho. But that's my opinion. A lot of Chelsea fans do they not on that. They love Jorginho, whatever. Um, but in terms of the deficiencies that we would have, I think that this team right now, they just need to gel, and we for sure we take in the league, and we will take I feel like FA Cup. We take the league and FA Cup this season for sure.
For
Book it,
sure.
book it. Yeah, book it, book it,
Alright,
book it.
alright. I like your
I'm
confidence, man. I like
confident,
your
boy.
confidence.
Confident.
Yeah. I telling you. When Ziyech come in, Ziyech and Pulisic, problems on the wings.
All right.
Alright.
Well, thanks again, Kerry, for joining All in All United. It was appreciated, it's always good to have some banter with rivals, you know. But clean, banter,
Yeah. Respectable.
Yeah,
No longer the whole
respectable.
Manchester United, man. You and
Yeah.
all
No, 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 no.
Christopher had to put in a place there.
that. Oh
So
boy.
hopefully we'll have you on the show in the future when when we face you all again.
Yeah, when they come in the
You know,
bridge.
when we come at the bridge or even in the FA Cup that you all might want to win and we knock all you out.
Man,
We
okay.
have a tendency to meet all in them cup competitions and knock all you out now. But I mean,
Right.
I was fortunate last year because Oli make a change that wasn't supposed to happen.
All right. I
Anyway,
got you. No problem.
Thanks for coming in. I say at All United, we appreciate, when the little rivals come in for a little banter. So, thanks again.
yeah,
No
man.
problem. No problem, guys. No problem. No
All
problem at all.
right.
I tell you, thanks for having
The
thanks.
General Lion get with today, boy.
Yeah, boy.
All kind
What's
of
that?
thing. Just
Could I be on that fork, eh? Could I be on
Now
that
we
thick
are
fork?
on the tree sprung for
all right.
tonight.
Whoever you all have doing VAR, you all need to make sure you go and give them a little handshake thing, buy a couple beers for them. That's a seal. Hi, fellas.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care.
Nice
Thanks for
one.
joining. All right, Nico. So we're back on. Let me get some comments, right? Gregory talking about Luke Shaw and why Tellez didn't play. Now here now, I still had his growls with Luke Shaw, Nico. You didn't find, I don't know why it is Luke Shaw just put his players in that kind of position. He just carry the ball. So many times today, Rashford pull wide to create the space. And Luke Shaw will carry the ball to the man.
Straight up to him.
Yes, straight up to him and cause it. So then when Rashford get up, Rashford have no option but to go back. Because Luke Shaw already congest the space. Luke Shaw bring his marker and Rashford marker into that space. And that is something that's just annoying me about Luke Shaw, boy. I didn't think he was as good as he was against Paris. In Paris, sorry. For me, I started to wonder whether, he better suited as a left center back with the freedom to push forward, because I'm not seeing where Luke Shaw showing that kind of confidence in making certain passes. It had a pass in the second half as well. Pogba show himself, right? It was just to slip it right to Pogba, and the man tried to force it to Rashford. You already know Chelsea playing with 3 defenders, right? So that easily that ball gonna get cut off if you the way how we play it. Yet you still try to force the pass. And I've seen the intelligence in the way how Luke Shaw just play sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And in terms of the amount of goals that has or creativity that has come from the wing back positions. If you think about Alexander and Robertson, I mean those type of players who what are creativity coming from behind. I don't think Luke Shaw giving you that. You know, I don't think, and I think that is where the football is now. You know, they come like extra attacking players on the field. And Luke Shaw, as you would have said, he don't really give that productivity going forward. You know what I mean? As you would have said, defensively in a left side of the back three, I think he has done excellent. I think from last season when he played them there, it looked like that was his position. Yeah, I think he really looks good there because at the end of the day, he have the freedom to go forward. Whereas as a left back, your job more or less is to go forward. You know, as the centre back is you're free to go forward, but you're not forced to go forward. You know, and we know that he doesn't have that industry to want to go every time. So I think the left-sided back, I think when we play in our back three, you could definitely see him into the team. I know that'll be a real hard team to pick, you know, but you could see him playing on the left side of the defense. With Tellez coming in, because Tellez, you see that he has that attacking creativity and he has the quality on the ball going forward. I think he could be almost as good as Alexander Arnold, because just as Alexander Arnold takes free kicks, Tellez take free kicks also. He has that quality on the ball, you know. So I think going forward, especially when we play the three at the back, we would see more of Tellez and maybe even come in, you know what I mean, Luke Shaw might get a rest, you know what I mean, in between. And you never know, Tellez might even take his place permanently when they're playing in our back four.
Yeah. So Nacho is saying here, today's game should help us mentally going into a tough week against Leipzig and Arsenal. With Cavani finally in the mix, all the formation should be interesting. Rashford looked good on the left in the second half, cutting in, etc. We have Marcel as well to fit back in as well. Yeah, I think everything, you know, it's something that I remember, Nico, when the season had started, and we were talking about the game against Crystal Palace we had played first, right? One of the things you had mentioned was, you know, the team still, we're not ready. And sometimes we noticed with a lot of the teams that had the European campaign, the late European campaign. So coming into this new season, it was really tough for a lot of teams. But now we're starting to see, you know, with the training and everything getting back into the kind of norm, we've seen where the levels kind of getting back to where it's supposed to be. So as Sinatra said there, you know, it'll be interesting because we have a lot of players now. We can play so many different ways. You know, you have Cavani offering something different from what Marcel would offer, playing as the number 9. You know, and then you have Greenwood, then you have Rashford, you have Mata who's showing form, you know, who we know we should be utilizing a little more now. Because I thought even today he was decent.
Yeah, very good. It's very good. Yeah. And Mendy would have said made a top save to deny him also.
Exactly. So I think, you know, the fact that even though I still believe that we should have won today, and we did enough in terms of, you know, controlling the game to win the game, you know, not in terms of chance creation and finishing, but in terms of the amount of possession we had, especially in the second half, and how we control and dictate the tempo. We were supposed to win this game, you know. Nonetheless, not losing, you know, should really give us, you know, some kind of confidence to go against Leipzig at home again on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Gregory is saying Pulisic could have been booked for diving. McTominay didn't even touch him. Yeah, a lot of things will be happening in the game where the referees go get wary very, very soon. I don't know if you're not commenting on this, Nico.
Daniel James is just a bit one-dimensional. He has pace, but he don't know how to use it properly. Yeah, and we talked about it. I think the first thing he does look to use is his pace, right? But yes, you have the pace. Sometimes you have the space to run into. Sometimes he even running even before, before he's supposed to. You know, so sometimes like Fred might want to pass him, but you run behind a man back. I can't get the ball there, and that space I don't think about the pace alone, but think about the space you have to receive a pass. So, you know, it's not about the pace alone, but it's about thinking. You know what I mean? I think that is something that he really has to improve on.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same thing that we're talking about here, but I remember when he was on the line and
Yeah,
Fred
that's what's up.
made a past him and he bowled off and Fred was
Bolt
like,
off.
where
Yeah,
you going?
yeah, he said, I don't wait. Fred telling me, I don't wait. Right? Because if you read the game, you have to understand that hey, you can't go there yet, you have to wait. You
Yeah.
know?
And I think that's what has made Daniel James so easy for defenders because he just one dimensional.
He looking to run every time and not to, you know what I mean, to mix up the game now.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know in terms of the McTominay and Fred partnership in the midfield. I don't know if after the comment you want to we talk on that in terms of if it's still justified, you know what I mean, in terms of dropping Pogba and even Matic and playing with the double pivot.
You know, I'm glad you bring it up because it made me remember something. Because when I was watching the game, right, Nico, it had a point in the game where when he took off Mata, Bruno was playing wide right, Rashford was playing left, Cavani was playing on top, and Pogba was playing in number 10. You remember when we talk about that?
Yeah, yeah, we talk about that.
And I think, Nico, that could work.
Yes.
Because you see, you have the Fred and the McTominay to protect.
Yes.
You understand what's going on up top. Now, remember, my growls will not really change as far as McTominay is concerned. Yes, he given you the hard work, but I still not seen the intelligence from McTominay that I want.
You don't need that in that position you play. You don't need that intelligence.
What do you mean you don't need intelligence, Nico?
You don't need that. What the intelligence you're looking for? You're looking for a Thiago Silva. You're looking for a Busquets. You're looking for that kind. You're looking for a Modric kind of intelligence. You don't need that in that position.
Why?
I think what he is giving to the team right now is what is required. All right. So Casemiro always have breakup play and played for Modric played for, right? Everybody rave about Casemiro, right? But McTominay is playing a similar role.
Yeah, but one thing, you're talking
very good games and he would only improve.
Yeah, so and I mean, I guess with games, you know, McTominay will start to show the confidence will build and he might start to try new things. And I don't know it's true that, but when coming down to brass stats and individual ability, you know, separate and apart from a specific role that you have to do, you need to be a little more flexible in what you able to do on the ball, because not every game that I put you in, you will just be required to break up play and make a simple 2-yard pass. I want more from McTominay, and I don't think McTominay is able to give me that. Nothing wrong with me demanding or asking for a Thiago Alcantara type player. We've been talking about if we could get a Matic type player with legs. You understand what I'm saying? Simply because Matic offers that kind of intelligence and on-the-ball ability, even though he's a defensive player. So what I am saying is, you could imagine if we have, let's just say, a Matic with McTominay with Matic ability and Fred in our defensive positions.
Yeah.
That is ideal, and that's why I'm asking for. I don't want, because I don't think I'm getting enough, and you saw it today. Sometimes we have a tendency of overplaying. Sometimes we have a tendency and it's like when the fellas try to make forward progressive passes, they're messing it up because it's not in the game. And we don't only want our defensive midfielders to be breaking up play. We want them to be contributing to the attacking aspect of our football as well.
Exactly. I agree. Without beating it, right? Did you appreciate the level of industry and even the quality from a Darren Fletcher?
Yes.
Well, all right. Let me move on.
I don't know your channel. All right.
I said it's a similar role, and we appreciated that. We appreciated Darren Fletcher for the role he played for United, right? And he won multiple championships playing that role and playing it successfully.
Right.
Glamour and glitz to his game, keeping it simple, being effective, being that engine, right? And we appreciated that. And
right.
And we appreciated him.
But Darren Fletcher, I meing, if we being true, was a squad player. So Darren Fletcher wasn't the first team on the team sheet.
It had a point where he was one of the first teams on the team sheet.
I can't remember that, man.
Come now, man, Reeves, man. Oh gosh, you're watching the United.
We go see how it develop. Right? I have an open mind, but right now, Nico telling me I ain't convinced with McTominay. I'm seeing more of what I want. I'm seeing more, if I'm honest, I'm seeing more of what I want from my center midfielders from Fred. You know? Christopher saying both managers have a lot to lose this season. It showed today. Champions League on their mind. It was a cagey match. Yes, both of them didn't want to lose. You know? Nico saying Dean Henderson there to keep pressure on the hair.
Yeah, we know how it working. 50,000 he said on the bench, nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. I guess I'm feeling for Henderson right now. Henderson.
I don't think complacent is. I think he's always professional, so I think being complacent kind of harsh on Romero.
Watch me. Henderson sit on the bench eating all kind of catch and bongo and thing and all that today.
No, nothing wrong with that. That is for energy. That's in case. I just energy.
Energy.
Them fellas training hard. You can afford to do that.
I want to see.
And as Gregory saying, Romero, I don't want to say what complacent. I find complacent is a harsh word, but I think he was always comfortable being a number 2, right? Where I think the Henderson pushing to be a number 1, where Romero was just comfortable being a number 2.
Yeah, all right. Gregory saying Fred is a good player, just need to work on his passing. I think sometimes Fred is this tend to blow hot and cold, You know, because I think against Paris Saint-Germain, his passing was on point, You know, so sometimes when you're doing things, you tend to get right, sometimes get wrong until you reach that level. Gregory saying Darren Fletcher wasn't known for his passing game, but he was a hard worker. Same can be said for Fred and McTominay. All right, so I think you're agreeing with Nico's point here. I had a comment here I don't want to miss. I think something about Maguire. He'll say, Gregory saying we'll talk to Maguire to take winner. You know, somebody maybe comment today and they say Maguire so accustomed and he's so used to pulling down his own players that probably he didn't realize Aspilicueta was an opposition player. Because if he pulled down one of his own players, it would not have no issue.
Could be. But at that point, it's at that point I get frightened for the hair. It's at a ball here. I was going up for Maguire was there, and I thought Maguire was gonna push him out of the way. Because I get so accustomed with the man doing them thing that naturally my mind just flick that hey, I hope this man will push down this man.
Yeah, so I think
him, keeper, and then like you wake up and you realize hey, it's not the keeper.
Yeah, so I think Maguire the key. We dodge a bullet there. We dodge a real serious bullet because I tell you, any other day that was a penalty. Any other referee or any other that was a penalty.
Yeah, was another player.
Yeah.
That's Chris Smalling is penalty. Chris Smalling in that position is penalty. Don't talk about Phil Jones.
Yeah.
It's penalty because they're naturally clumsy. So the VR going to look for them one time. All right, Phil Jones naturally clumsy. It's only to that. Yeah.
And sometimes you could foul somebody but still make it look like it was a challenge. Yeah, not Jones and Smalling and them fellas and them. Them fellas showing hey, I pulling you down.
Yeah, exactly.
But Nico, we saw Cavani's introduction and his debut today. It wasn't much, and it'll take some time for him to gel. Because even Kerry was talking about the team needing to gel to get the best out of the group for Chelsea. But we're seeing it's two things we want to talk about. So we'll talk about Cavani first, and then we'll go over to Van de Beek. All right, but what was your thoughts on Cavani and his cameo today?
I think first touch was excellent in terms of that flick that had Mendy scampering. I think sometimes that first shot alone that show confidence, So I was kind of impressed with his intent and his confidence, and even in his industry, his threat. You saw that he was a threat. You saw that Thiago Silva took close attention to him because Thiago Silva would have known the threat he was. I think it had a shot where Thiago Silva charged down with definitely Mendy would have had to save. If it was Kepa, I say would have been shot a goal. But with the former Mendy today, I think that chance Mendy would have definitely had to save. So I think with the limited over the time he was on the field, I thought he was very effective. He occupied the defenders. You know, he had them thinking. If you look at his movement, even for the little flick, that when he came on, that movement alone would have been different to what we have been seeing. You know, it was really his movement was a breath of fresh air for a striker now. I don't think we had a number 9 or that type of player for a long while at United. You know, I know yes he's at the twilight of more or less of his career, but I think his experience and his movement and his understanding of the role of a striker, I think we saw it today, and I think he done really well.
Yeah, and I mean, as we always say, we want to be able to have players to offer something different now, you know. And just to touch on the move, you talk about that movement for the first contribution in the game that he made. He went in and then pull out and then went back in.
Yeah,
you know, so it had the defender confused.
Yeah, it's not something we're accustomed seeing.
Yeah,
you know, we our strikers more one-dimensional. You know, yes, you want to make a cut, but you wouldn't see that kind of industry in terms of going, coming, going again, just to create that extra bit of space now. You know, and that space is what, you know, does make a striker, because that's you get a yard of space that make a big difference in terms of getting a shot off or being charged down. You know, I think he did well for himself today.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully we'll see more Cavani, but I guess that seeing more Cavani mean we will be seeing less of Igalo. But I mean, Igalo living in a month or two, so
yeah, he live his dream, man.
Yeah, he live his dream.
Yeah.
So Van de Beek, Nico, because you know a lot of talk going around about Van de Beek. He not being called upon today in a situation where you think Van de Beek may have been able to do something. And this will bring me back to the point that I kept making before, even in previous reviews that we had. Van de Beek was not one of Ollie's targets. And this is how we are seeing it now. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have, if Ollie is to continue with the way the team playing and you realize that he's going for the more industry type central midfield, then you know that picking itself with Fred and McTominay, right? Which means the number 10 role, you have 3 people vying for that number 10 role. You have Bruno, then you have Pogba, then you have Van de Beek. You understand what I'm saying? And Ollie knows that it for me is no secret. I'd rather be a rocket scientist to figure it out that Van de Beek was not part of Ollie plan, or else we'd have been seeing a lot more Van de Beek. Right now, Ollie trying to figure out how best he could use Van de Beek. I don't know what your thoughts on Van de Beek is right now. Because he looks like a frustrated player, you know?
I guess the same fact as you would have said, even a Daniel James starting on the left in front of Van de Beek would have said volumes then. Because we know that other than the industry, Daniel James not really offering much. You know, and then you have a player like Van de Beek who could play anywhere across the front, right? So even with him and Mata on the field, Mata could have switched, you know what I mean? Two of them could have been switching, you know, and creating that confusion, you know, in terms of bringing that quality on either side of the field. I think he could have definitely done that if he was part of Ollie's plan, you know. However, I still think that he has a role to play. I think even I could see him playing the role Mata played today, you know, and bringing that extra quality. Yes, he has something different to offer. And I think even if we don't play Mata or even we don't play Greenwood at that side, I think that is maybe a position he could even vie for. You know, so yes, I agree. I really don't think he was one of Ollie's preferred signings. He was already brought in to add depth to the squad, but it's a heavy price to pay for depth. You know, but I think he also had to be grateful in terms of making the squad, in terms of making the bench, because there's a lot of players who's not even making the bench. You know, so I think that even saying something good for him going forward. You know, maybe that's a bit more in terms of something he has to do in terms of impressing in some way to really start to make the first team. Because I think that's being on the bench is a plus to him that maybe, you know, to be on the starting team is soon to come.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what's even working good for us as well, Nico, is the fact that we actually have quality options off the bench now. Because even going into the game, when I looked at the bench, we had, and I think you mentioned it earlier today in the review, you have Pogba, you have Cavani, Greenwood, Van de Beek, Tuanzebe, you know. So
Tellez on the bench.
but Tellez didn't
Yeah, that's it. Tellez was on the bench. Yeah.
And even Tellez, and then you have Martial too, who wasn't there today. So you're looking in terms of the team on a whole. We've seen a little more quality in this squad. I think the task now is for Oli to really try to keep everybody happy. You know, it's a plenty football. He has to rotate his squad because when you look at the space between the games, you know, you have to rotate to avoid the fatigue-related injuries, you know, and then you need to keep your squad ready and sharp. So you can't be playing 1-11, and then when this man breaks down, you bring in a next player who had a try to now reach at that level and he's rusty, as you say, you know. So I think the challenge for Oli now is to really utilize his squad in the best way he can, you know, and we'll see everybody will get minutes, you know. So naturally saying Oli should give Van de Beek a sweat in the Carabao. That's his opportunity, but Carabao, when is the next Carabao Cup game?
December or somewhere.
You know, and then FA Cup in around that time. So the space between that will be too much of a wait by Sinatra. That will be for me. I mean, I was hoping that if they closer, then definitely that'll be easier. You know, for him to get them fellas minutes to get Dean Henderson a game. You know, and the more the likes of Bruno and Pogba start to continue to perform, is the harder it gonna be, and Oli gonna find himself in some little problems because the media will always be pushing the agenda. You know, so I mean, I guess it's good to have the options, but then at the same time, the options waiting for the opportunity might be a little more. They might get despondent, you know.
Because in terms of Pogba not starting, you think Pogba would start to start soon, or you think that Pogba might end up just being a rotation with Bruno in that number 10? But don't mind Pogba still giving you that industry that Bruno would give you. But yes, like we realize that Oli would have seen that Pogba don't want to do the hard work. You know what I mean? I think as we would have been saying to free Pogba. So I think Oli kind of freeing Pogba now. So what do you think about that going forward?
Yeah, it had a couple of things I noticed today, and it was very interesting because it made me think that Oli really he's seeing things that we seeing, you know. Because today two things, right? One, I think we mentioned it before, where he played Bruno right, Pogba in center attacking midfield, and Rashford was left when he took off Mata. When McTominay came off, now based on what we see Oli doing before, it would have been expected that Pogba would have been the one to drop deep alongside Fred. But you know who dropped? Bruno.
Yeah.
And Greenwood went out right. You know what I'm saying? So I see, you know, where Oli's starting to figure out certain things now. Now, whether that's how we will start games, that is something that we had to wait to see. Because even in the post-match, Oli say he did Pogba an injustice to start him in the games early in the season because he knew he wasn't fit with the COVID and whoever, right? But you're also seeing now that Pogba, as you say, and a lot of other people would say, they wouldn't give it the kind of industry that we seeing working for United in the midfield. And Bruno could still get that because even in the number 10 role, Nico, Bruno's still tracking.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I always ask him, well, why we don't consider swapping Bruno and Pogba and see, well, what that will give us, you know? So I think, I'm not sure I'm going to see Pogba starting just yet with Bruno, but I think it'll have games where, you know, where we don't need two defensive midfielders, and Bruno might be the one starting in the 6, and Pogba might play the 10.
All right.
You know, I don't know if you agree with that or think, but
because as I was saying, and even Callum, what I said before, is that Pogba right now more like a luxury player, you know, and you're kind of seeing that, You're kind of seeing that because when he come on in games more or less, he have a free role to create something, You know, you gonna win us the game, you know, I mean, you gonna create something, you use your quality to, you know, to spark something, you know, and that would be seeing going forward. So I don't know if that is, I don't know how, especially how we play now, I don't know how to see Pogba coming into the team and really adding value from the start.
I guess it might be dependent on the opposition too, because I mean teams that will possess the ball like we would have expected from Chelsea, that we saw from PSG and even maybe Arsenal come next weekend. That might be the teams that you'll want the McTominays and the Freds to play because they'll get the hard work. And then when you add Bruno in that mix, you get that kind of industry from Bruno as well. So probably maybe when you have teams that you know for sure will sit back, you might be able to let Pogba, get some minutes, he and Matic. I don't know. So yeah. So I think unless you have anything again, Nico, you have any closing remarks?
No, I think today not losing was important also. I think coming off the high of the PSG victory, a follow-up performance was required, and I think that what we got today, we got a good follow-up performance. So I think the confidence hasn't dipped. I think the confidence will even be even higher after today's game, because I think we other than Mendy, if it wasn't for Mendy, we should have won the game. Because I think overall we were the dominant team. So I think coming out of the game, we coming out with our heads held high, full of confidence going forward into the Leipzig game. I think some players say feeling United and then the heels get disappointed. But going into the Leipzig game feeling good about it. Whatever the result, I think we were putting a good performance. So I'm really feeling good about our present form and going to the Leipzig game for an excellent performance.
Nice. So naturally, we gave you the last comment, bro. He's saying we have a lot of options. Just getting the right formation combination is critical. I think that's a very, very interesting point. Sometimes selecting the right team, and I mean, this is my personal opinion, and sometimes hindsight is always,
Well done.
Yeah. So, but I do think if we didn't start Daniel James today, the result could have gone differently. And when I say differently, I mean in our favor, because we saw a lot going down that channel and a lot was wasted through him. And if we had a little more intelligence, a little more ability on that side of the field, it may have been able to open up some opportunities for us. So I think selecting the right team for the games will be important. I understand bringing in players to change the game at different points, but sometimes you want the start, that will give you the edge and the advantage going into the game. So I guess that's something that Oli might be learning still, now that he have a bigger squad and he have a little more options. So we'll wait and see, but I agree with what Nico said, the team confidence in the way we playing, we kind of have an understanding of what we need to do. And let's hope against Leipzig we could get 6 points on the board, and that will just spur us on to go into that Arsenal game even more confident. Unfortunately, we don't have Martial for Arsenal, but we have him for Leipzig. Because I think he needs some games there, because you're seeing even against PSG, he wasn't really, at the races because he don't have the amount of matches for that kind of sharpness as the others around him would have. But let's hope that when he come back, he'll show what he's worth. All right. So guys, thanks for joining this evening. If you all would have missed the earlier part, we had Kerry, a Chelsea supporter, on the show. And he gave us some very, very interesting views on his team. So, and that's what we like to do. So for probably for the Arsenal game, we might get a gunner on the inside. Who knows? Yeah. So be reminded, guys. Check us on YouTube. Like, share, comment, right? And like these videos as well. Share and comment. Have a good night, everybody.